Good evening, everybody. We are back with another edition of the Clydesdale After Dark.
Here we are. I actually
Cheers.
found a beer in the refrigerator. I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to drink it.
There you go.
It's a
It's a grapefruit what?
a grapefruit nectar India Pale Ale.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
There you go. Proudly brewed on the shores of the Choptank River in Cambridge, Maryland. Cheers.
I am drinking very old Barton bourbon.
Nice. Oh, I think that beer is a little too old. It's probably been in my fridge for months.
Usually that's okay.
Mm.
Maybe you just don't like your grapefruit IPA.
I just don't like beer that much.
Well, it's been quite a day.
Yes,
I've been doing some remodeling in the middle of games stuff, and I drove a screwdriver into two of my fingers trying to get grout off of old tiles. Yeah, good times.
You do not earn 0 points for effort, then you get the 15 points for that.
There. Last place finish still, but I got the effort points.
I am home alone and I have been vacuuming like a mad woman. So my house is very clean right now.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah. It's nice when you clean and then like you turn around and it's not messed up again because there's no one around to mess it up.
Yeah, I think my days of like relaxing on the weekends are over because a couple of months ago we said we were going to move. We kind of changed our mind on that, and so now we're remodeling everything.
So really, it's like it or list it, right?
Yeah, it's like if we're going to stay, then I want it to be like I want it, is what my wife is saying, and I am gladly obliging to whatever that is.
Perfect. That's fun.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of weekends of that, but so we had the games today. Day two.
Sure did. Good stuff. I was having a hard time like balancing where I should be watching and what I should be doing. I'm watching YouTube. I have a smart TV in the basement, and I've been watching like the YouTube feed there. But sometimes it like doesn't come up, or I'm not sure how to refresh it. So I like sit on it early, and then I'm looking on the computer and it's going. So I have to like turn it off and turn it on again. It's a little annoying. And I tried to listen to Armin for a little bit too while he was doing his live feed. I think you were listening to him for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's hard because you have to have kind of two screens. And Penn State was playing today, and regretfully they lost in overtime just before we went on air. So that was one screen, and then to me to get another screen was just too difficult to do it consistently. But I like the idea of it, and it's something that we would love to do on our channel. We just need more subscribers.
Yeah.
You know, we beg for it every episode. Hit that subscribe button. It means we can bring you more and better content.
And it's not a big deal. Like if you're not one of those people that wants to get bothered by notifications, you don't have to click the notifier. Like I'd like you to, because we want you to get all the episodes. But literally, if you just log in, you have an account and you click the subscribe button, it helps us more than you know. And really, no skin off your back. All that's going to happen is when you come to your homepage, you might see one of our videos.
Yeah. And what it'll do for us is be able to provide you with better content. It'll allow us to go live. Like we could go right live during the games and do commentary, do it just like Armin does.
Yeah.
We could do live with a celebrity guest.
Mm-hmm.
Live at the Mayhem Classic, for example.
Right.
And be able to put that right up as we're doing it live. And that'll give you like better content and more creative content that we can bring you. So please. Just hit it. It's free. Tell your friends. Just hit the button. Hit the button and go away.
It's like liking a page on Facebook.
Maybe they'll actually like it when they get there.
No big deal. Yeah.
But, just hit the button. That's all we're asking.
Mm-hmm.
So today I pulled a cat. I had a notebook.
I can't wait to hear what this is.
I had a notebook beside me all day just to write down like things I was thinking at the time, or just because I didn't want to forget anything. Because last night we forgot something that was kind of important. It may be meaningless now, but something that we didn't mention last night is at the end of the last event when Tia died on that trail run. Do you remember what happened when she finished?
She walked directly to her
She threw
trailer.
her chip timer off and walked didn't accept the bottle of water, went right down the hill into the ice bath.
Yeah, she was not happy.
Right. And maybe that's what happened today, is that anger turned into focus because, she's not focused enough.
Right.
And a couple other observations I want to make of stuff that happened between day 1 and day 2 is, did you see Tommy Marquez's report?
I did.
Did you see he shaved?
You know what? It's funny. I noted that I thought he got a haircut. So I did notice something was different. But I didn't.
He looks 12.
Looks like a baby angel. Yeah.
So I sent him a message and I'm like, my God, you look like a teenager.
I sent him a message too, but I thought it was a haircut message.
And he said, I'll take it.
That's funny. Yeah.
So yeah, that was one thing I noticed. You and I both watched some of the Buttery Bros thing in between.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What I love about it is it's great behind the scenes content immediately. So it's kind of a mix between what Sevon used to give us behind the scenes, but it's immediate, like a Buttery Bros thing.
Yeah. Very cool. They work their asses off. I don't know, who's behind the scenes doing all the chopping and all that, but man, they work fast and they do such good work.
And they premiere it right before the start.
It's perfect.
Of the first event of the day.
Yeah.
So tune into that tomorrow. There's a lot of great content, but a couple things I wanted to note on that before we get into today's events is they had Eric Rosa on, and they're kind of talking about him taking over CrossFit and is he surprised that this was pulled off? And one thing that we learned is he actually told the investors this year's games is not part of the deal. It's not a guarantee.
Right. Don't count on it.
Right. And yet they were still able to pull it off. And he said a phrase that it caught my attention. And he said, I feel like a dog that caught the car and now I'm hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. He's living large, and not like, I don't think he ever expected this to happen, for him to be at the helm, even though it's probably one of his biggest goals, but so cool.
Well, he says that he's loving it. It's like his life's, like his calling. And you and I have talked about this just in the last couple of days with the podcast, right? Like it's our calling.
Yeah.
But it's so surreal at the same time, like some of the people we get to talk to and some of the people that talk to us. And
Absolutely.
And he's going through the same thing on a much more macro level than we are. But wow, like crazy. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up on the Buttery Bros, which is just fascinating to me. I don't know about anybody else, but Justin Berg and Heber had a conversation.
It was Mars. I think it was Mars.
Was it Mars?
Yeah. Who said, so.
It was both of them. They were both there.
They were both there?
Yeah. They were both there.
Ballsy.
And they asked him like, hey, aren't you the guy that fired us? And it got into this conversation where Justin said, regretfully, a couple years ago, my job forced me to let people go that work their butts off. And it was, a tough thing for me. And they kind of just had this kind of kumbaya moment where Mars and Heber were saying, it was so bad in the moment, but sometimes the worst things in life turn out to be the best things in life.
Yeah, it was the best thing that could have happened.
Because now they're being contracted by the employer that fired them to do the job they used to do, probably at a contractor's rate, which if any of you work in the business world, a contractor makes way more than an hourly employee.
Yeah.
So, then Heber's reaction to it was, we used to be on the train. Now we're driving a Lamborghini.
Yep. Yeah.
So that I thought that was pretty cool. Just how, and he also gave them the opportunity to say, no hard feelings. It was something I was forced to do. And, you guys are doing well. So.
Yeah. But I almost spit up my coffee when I heard him say that. When I'm sitting there watching and it's all, they're all jovial and everything. He's like, so yeah, remember when you fired us? I was like, you didn't just go there. That was great.
All right, let's get into the day's events.
Okay.
Unless there were observations you had.
No, I had nothing from yesterday. I'm zoned out. I'm back on today.
Okay. So I'm going to keep my notebook with me all night. And so tomorrow we'll have the same thing.
Okay.
All right. So event 6, that was your favorite event. the toes to bar and walking lunge.
Yeah, it still really wasn't that exciting to me, really. I mean, minus a couple people like slipping on a lunge. I wasn't really surprised by the results. Like I don't know.
So I'm gonna make a comment on event 7. This one was better than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Not to the point of like jumping out of my chair excited.
So are you talking about 7 or 6?
6.
Oh, okay.
6 was a little bit better than I expected. It, like I said, not jumping out of my chair, but better than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I just thought that, you know, like as a coach, you see all the different toes to bar techniques, and like Haley has this big, beautiful, perfect, swooping toes to bar, but it's not fast.
Not very efficient. Yeah.
But it's technically perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other ones are doing the bent knees with the kick up and super fast with the flick and just toasting her. And then of course she had the bad slip with the kettlebells, which wasn't good either.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, everybody knows, anyone that does CrossFit and competes in CrossFit knows that sort of reverse bicycle kick into a flick is faster and more efficient. But I think it depends. And there are people that, if you're competing, you should be able to do both, depending on the duration of the rep scheme and all that kind of stuff, because you want to save energy. You know, and one of them really taxes your hip flexors. The other one really uses your core and your lats. So hopefully all of them were doing it by design, you know, for whatever they happen to be feeling that morning is what I'm assuming. I'm assuming they're all seasoned enough to know that there's 2 ways to do it, you know, and somewhere in between, and that you do it depending on how you're feeling and how efficient you need to be and how fast you need to go. So,
yeah.
It was interesting to see sort of the different varieties of that. But again, I was just, I don't know, toes to bar, blah. And lunges, meh. I mean, at some point too, some of those guys looked like they were doing like a grid style lunge. Like they weren't even standing up all the way. They were kind of just like going and not quite standing up all the way. That was like the judge brain was, you know, coming on. But I don't know. I know that the CrossFit Games, every single CrossFit Games we've had, even regionals, always has some kind of a march, you know, a dramatic march. So it wouldn't have been the games without it, but I'm still kind of lukewarm about it.
Yeah, I love the overhead walking lunge from, 14 or whatever that was. Like that was awesome.
That was
because that wrecked some people.
Mm-hmm.
So then we move. So Tia and Matt win event 6 pretty handily.
Yeah. Can we just say like they win all of them today, right? There's no, they were.
Yeah.
Matt and Tia won everything today. We don't have to say it again.
Yeah. Spoiler. Sorry, you missed it. They win everything. So,
and it was really fun to just see the leaderboard flip flop back and forth depending on what happened with the other 4 in the field, because today was back and forth like I was watching a tennis match between events. It really was.
Yeah, something happened with Katrin in that first event. Was she second?
Hold on.
I have Katrin out at the...
Yeah, she was second. Brooke Wells was third, Carrie Pierce 4th, and Haley Adams 5th, which is surprising because, everyone says Carrie Pierce has that, phenomenal, like, gymnastics. She could do a million toes to bar.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is her games. And maybe that's just a limitation that...
I don't know. She's sitting in 3rd place right now, and Haley's trailing her by 40 points. So she's still, got the podium in her sights, I think.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible.
I'd love to see 2 Americans on the podium.
That would be cool.
I mean, because we're getting 1 Australian for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
and we might have a French Canadian on the guy's side, at least.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He's so, but they're all inconsistent right now. If you're not Matt Frazier, you're inconsistent.
Yeah.
Except for Noah. Except for Noah, you are consistently bad.
Yeah. What is going on with him? That's frustrating to see. I feel bad.
So we moved to event 7, and this is where I kind of have a complaint. So
Okay,
on
remind me.
paper, I thought event 7 was a
This is
snatch sprint.
Okay.
So on paper, I thought, man, this is going to be fun to watch. It was a real dud for me.
Yeah.
The 3 bars were too short to create any drama.
Like the 5 bars that we normally see in
Right.
a ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, and it allows them to go to a level that is maybe not.
Right.
And that could even be a couple bars back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think they, like, horizontally, they knew they were going to have 5 athletes, so let's make it short. But that shouldn't have altered the vertical of the event.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and they could have done 5 bars and just like had, fewer increment or, lower increments in between or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, because once you get to 2, you're kind of like, all right, well, there's only 1 more left. Like, what's going to happen?
And they like they power snatched the first one, most of them. It didn't have it for me. Like, I love watching lifting, and that was a dud for me.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't, and I think we're used to think about all the ladders that we've seen before. They're in the tennis stadium, they're in the Coliseum. They're huge events with, under the lights and roaring crowds and jamming music and all that kind of stuff. This was just kind of, a little lackluster.
And Matt and Tia didn't even let anybody stay close.
Yeah.
So it just was like, it was over by the second bar.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay.
And did Adler get second on that?
Yes.
Okay, because he was kind of talking a little smack.
Yeah, he took second on a couple of events.
He was going to win. Yeah, he had a really good day, actually.
So not much to say about that. It was a dud for me. Matt and Tia win.
Yeah, I felt bad for Haley.
Yeah,
I wish she had done better in that one.
We talked about that. She just doesn't have the raw strength.
Yeah.
To kind of power through that, but yeah. All right, so event 8. I like this event.
I did too.
The bike and the rope.
I really did.
Katrin tried to push Tia for a while.
She can't do rope climbs.
Her rope climbs are super atrocious. Then Haley tried to push, and Haley's rope climbs were faster than Tia's.
Yeah,
but she just could.
She was not comfortable on the bike.
Her transitions were atrocious.
Yeah, and she admitted
and she still took
second.
Really
mm-hmm. Did she?
Yep. She got the interview afterwards.
Oh yeah,
and that's when she said she didn't feel well after last night.
Yeah.
And really struggled this morning, but worked her way through. But yeah, she looked good other than getting on and off the bike. And so I hope maybe that's something they'll work on now that they know that's a possibility down there at Mayhem.
Yeah.
And
and I think, that would be okay if she had, the strength, right? And so if she can hold her own on some of these other ones that are stronger, it doesn't matter as much, I guess. But if you're dealing with a strength deficit in the final 5 of the CrossFit Games, like everything else has to be perfect for it to, come together.
Yeah. So then the men.
That was exciting.
The men was basically a tag team. Medeiros and Adler tagging off who was going to push Matt.
Yeah, that was so cool.
So for like the first 6 rounds, Medeiros was pretty much rep for rep with Matt.
Yep.
Then Medeiros realized that he's not Matt. And he fell off. And then out of nowhere comes Jeffrey Adler.
Yeah.
And he was fast up and down that rope.
He was super efficient on the rope and pushing it on the bike until that last bike ride where, Matt looks over and just, he gets ahead of him. And then it's like, I mean, Matt just tore off, went into like another gear.
And that was the point where I said to myself, because I'm not a Matt super fan. Like, I respect what he's done and I think he's great. That moment told me he's unbeatable.
Yeah. Like I think what's happened in the past too, is that because he hasn't been challenged, we haven't seen him have to go into that sort of extra gear, right? Because he's never had to. No one's ever challenged him. And it's really cool to see. I think I have more respect for him now than I did in the years past, because he is being challenged, and we are seeing sort of that, that deep, dark, go anywhere I need to go to win kind of a thing that when it's easy for him, we just don't see it or don't appreciate it, maybe. I don't know.
Because he went to another place.
Another level, yep.
Because Adler was right there with him. They made that turn. And I have to commend his turns. You can tell that kid was a dirt bike rider as a kid.
Yeah.
The way he like slid around the turns, to get his bike set.
All the guys did that except for Noah. And none of the women did it. So it was kind of like, come on.
The men all did it, but Matt did it with a panache.
Yeah.
That he like he was a BMXer as a kid or something.
Yep, for sure. That was good.
Yeah. And then when that last way back, when he hit fifth gear.
Yeah. He's like, nope, this is not happening.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So then the surprise event of the night. Happy Star.
I know. I thought of, I thought of Jen and Sam Dancer, actually, because of Baby Star. But I actually do, when I coach, it's funny when I used to coach for like 3 different boxes, and you know how everyone does sort of a lot of the same movements in a warm up, but they have different names for them. So have you ever done an iron cross where you lie on the ground, your arms are out to the side, and you bring one leg up and over? It's kind of like a scorpion, but on your back instead of being on your belly.
Nope.
Okay. Well, it's called I've called it an iron cross before, but when I started coaching at a different gym, they call it a Happy Star. So it's, and I'll be coaching people and I'll be at the wrong place and I'll call it the wrong thing. I'll be like, all right, let's do iron cross. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, oh, Happy Star. Sorry. But yeah, one of the movements that we do is called a Happy Star. So
for those of you who didn't see it, it was a run up the hill. So it's, first of all, let's start 4 rounds. 4 rounds. Run up the hill. Each round, that run is different.
It goes this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then that way. That's the star. And then the bottom part of the star were burpees over a bar of the rig. Not a bar of a barbell, but like a thick, 30-inch, like, what do they call it? Monster. Like a crossbar. Yep. Like a cross beam. And so burpee over that, and it was increasing reps. So 5, 7, 9, 11. And then you had to do thrusters, move your bar forward, and then with the increasing reps became increasing weight. Yeah. So for the women, I think it was unusual. Like 85. I think it only got up to like 115. Yeah. And 85, 95, 105, 115. The men got up to 185. Maybe. Oh, we didn't pay attention to the weight. Yeah. So, but anyway, what was cool about this event is 2 people tried to put pressure on Tia and Matt. Mm-hmm. In the women's heat, Brooke took off like a shot. Yeah. And she was doing awesome until that 4th round. And Tia kind of caught her, and she sprinted back down the hill, like tried to get ahead of Tia, but Tia killed her on the burpees. Got 1 rep ahead of her on the thruster, and then Brooke died just like she did in event 1. Yeah, she fell apart on those thrusters. She was doing singles and getting no repped. And she went from first into that round to 4th. I think Haley was last. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I was on the women's page. Yeah, 4th. I was bummed that your girl passed her. But I was hoping that Brooke was like almost 90 seconds behind Tia in the finish, and she was leading. So if that's any indication, going into the burpees, Brooke was ahead. Yeah, she lost 90 seconds and 4 places. Yeah. Same thing was attempted by Samuel Quant. Yeah. In the men's side, he did not last as long because Matt Fraser turned on that 5th gear early and said, I'm not dealing with this again. I'm just going to separate. No dramatic finishes here.
When he ran up the hill for the 4th time, like he was stopping and looking over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing where, and kind of paced it out. And
but Sam ended up only 15 seconds behind him.
Yeah, but Matt went unbroken on every barbell.
Yeah, that was impressive.
So at the end of the day, Matt has a 435-point lead over the men, and Tia has a 290-point lead over the women. And there are 3 events to go.
3 events tomorrow. Now, so Tia and Matt both swept all the events today, right? What else was I going to say about that? I forget. I heard someone talking about something that I wanted to bring up. Now I can't remember what it was.
You should carry a notebook with you.
I know. Well, I wrote notes on my notes app yesterday, but I didn't do that today. I'll have to do that tomorrow. Yeah. Tia won everything.
She did.
Matt won everything.
There was, what I did like is on those events where they were pushed, got more exciting for me, regardless of what it was. Just someone being close to them. I mean, I think I'm just, and it's taking nothing away from their greatness. They are who they are, and they should try to win everything they can win.
Yeah. But
for a spectator, I'm just ready for somebody else to at least put a chink in the armor.
Yeah, it's not going to happen this year.
No.
Oh, I remember I forget who said it. It might have been Sean Woodland. He said essentially that that Matt Fraser is, it's like he's throwing a perfect game. Well, technically a no-hitter because because somebody scored on an error.
Yeah.
And that was the Jeff Adler in the CrossFit Total. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't it have been something
for someone who can't throw a baseball? That was a great baseball analogy.
Thank you. I'm a baseball mom. I can't execute, but I know a lot about it.
Perfectly delivered.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. I just, the dominance is a sight to see for sure.
Yeah.
So what do we think about tomorrow?
So we have the pig hunt.
Right.
We have the
sprint with the yellow balls being thrown out.
We have the sprint.
Yeah. So I was looking at the field today. The field at the Morgan Hills Center. It's sketchy. It is not uniform at all. Like, it's going to be very interesting. I'm setting up the whole controversy about how
where
the sleds
they
are
rode
going to
the
get
bike
pushed.
was there like a practice field. There is a turf field.
They're going to be on turf. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
There's a turf football field there as well.
And there's no shade. So it'll all be in the sun. There's no spectators to throw liquid down on the turf.
Yeah, Castro will be there with a water gun or just to get in Matt's head.
How about all the people that were watching outside the fence?
That was awesome.
On the live feed, you saw like somebody had an RV and people were tailgating. They brought their dogs and
they were climbing up on top the RV.
Yeah.
So they could see. Cool. And they really were like right there where the bike turned.
Yep.
And I don't know if you saw, like Castro's the one that threw them the cowbells.
Oh, did he throw them those?
Yeah, he went down
I saw him
throwing T-shirts and stuff like that. And you saw the little girl with the Games headband.
Yeah, that was cute.
And then but he threw cowbells to them, so they could at least get that little fan experience at the end.
Well, and that's I don't follow biking that much, but that's like a Tour de France thing, isn't it? Like when the bikers come around, when you're on the thing that people.
I mean, now that you say that, I remember hearing that.
I think it is, yeah.
But yeah, where I grew up, it's at every football game, every baseball game.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a cool effect to it all. And they actually I don't know if it was the fans playing the music.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I heard music. Yeah.
Because they have not been playing music from the actual entity, CrossFit. But I'm wondering if the RV had like speakers on the top.
How funny would that have been? And it looks like there's like an apartment complex right behind it. So I'm just wondering, like, hopefully everyone's, not drinking too much and being kind and respectful of the residents. But
yeah,
because we certainly don't want CrossFit to get a bad name in the community.
Yeah, true.
It's loud. So wait, what was the picture that we sent to each other over text the body in the ditch. Who
So Amy sent that to us.
I know, but it was on someone's
Someone
Instagram
tried
story.
to climb the fence. It was O'Keefe's. It was Matt O'Keefe's.
Yeah. What the hell was that?
I don't know. I've not heard.
We'll have to ask him.
Yeah. How would we be able to ask him, Kat?
We're friends with him, aren't we?
Yeah, and we have an interview scheduled with him maybe.
We might even have him on the show soon here.
Yeah, maybe in less than a week.
Exactly. All right. So I reached out to a couple of our prior guests today to ask them what they thought about the games. So I thought I would share just a few things with a few people here. Let's see. So talked about, reached out to Jeff Goebel. You guys remember him. He's the Masters athlete, number one out of the age group online qualifiers. And I quote, "Matt and Tia are not from this planet. Their fitness is beyond comprehension, and he's enjoyed the workout so far." So that is direct quote from our buddy Jeff. I talked with Dex Hopkins. He's been, a friend of ours for a while. He said that he said he's pleasantly surprised with the programming, and that he said that it's a sound destruction of the athletes. So he's happy with that. He said he's interested to see how the snatch ladder goes. We talked a little bit about people's CNS and how their central nervous system was going to sort of hold up during the day, and how people were going to cover from that trail run. So we'll reach out to him again tomorrow and see. This is all like earlier in the day. Who else did I talk to? I talked to Bethany Shadburn. She said, it looks brutal. And I said, any events you think you'd enjoy? And she said, all of them. So she clearly is having a little FOMO, I'm sure. Yeah. And I just, we talked a little bit about, her potential moving out west and how I'm sure she's going to be back in no time. Who else? I asked Kelly Baker. She said she wants to wait until the whole weekend is over before she makes a comment. So it probably meant she was just working out today and probably not watching it because she's a beast. I know I didn't work out today. Like, I can't work out when this is happening. I'm very motivated. Mine's called
bathroom remodeling for time.
Yeah. I'm taking advantage of the fact that I'm home alone, but also I just, I get super motivated to work out, but it's like a starting Monday type thing. Cause I like to just be ready and have all my accoutrement next to me when I'm like watching the games. It's like a serious thing. I mean, my daughter had a softball tournament this weekend. I didn't go because of the CrossFit Games. I'm like the worst mom ever, but they're used to it.
You get anybody else or?
I don't think so. So I sent Justin Kotler a note, but obviously he's kind of busy. So he did respond to me quickly, but I didn't ask him any questions. I just sort of said like, "Hey, great job." And Carrie's still in the mix, and she is still in the mix, which is really cool.
So I reached out to Saxon. Mm-hmm. Because I actually was friends with him before we even started this podcast.
He's still out there, right?
He is there right now. He is on the demo team. You've probably seen him around. He's been in the Buttery Bros. They've asked him about different things. So he has done every event.
He did the trail run twice.
Yep. So I talked to him and I said, well, what's it like being there? You're on the demo team. You're right there with where all the action is. And he said, I love it and hate it.
Yeah.
Love being a part of the process and getting insight into what it takes to pull the games off, but hate not being on the floor.
Yeah, he wants to compete.
And then in a later conversation, I'm not going to direct quote him. We were just kind of talking that these events actually are right in his wheelhouse. I
was thinking about Christy Aramo too, and thinking like, oh, I would love to see, how she would do. It's just a shame that we could only get the 5, because these events, according to Dave, were pretty similar to the events they had planned for when it was a field of 30. Yeah. And I feel like if they had gotten to do it, you may have a whole new, top 10.
Yeah. Saxon is that perfect balance of like cardio engine and strength.
Yeah.
Like the big barbell doesn't really affect him. He may not like win a max out event, but he'll come close. He won't like fall behind in that. Unlike like Haley or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I said, bro, this is like right up your alley. He goes, I know. I know. Yeah. And he's been timed in all of it. So now
Right. So he gets to,
has it
it's
to
even
look
worse.
at,
Yeah.
this was my time and this is where I would have finished.
And he
And
probably would have gone faster if he was in the field of 5, potentially.
so we kind of talked and said, it sucks, but at the end of the day, he's going to come out of this better.
Yeah.
And ready for next year.
And maybe hungrier, right?
Yeah.
Not that he needed that push, but yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
I mean, he's already a top 10 games athlete at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
But this let him see the thought process of Dave, and he got to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so we have that event. And then we have an unknown event.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we assume.
We really have 2 unknown events. We have a clue.
Well, in the finale, yeah. Do we think the finale, the finale, I keep calling it the grand finale. Do we think that's going to be at the ranch? Because coaches can't be at the ranch. And I would assume you'd want like a medal ceremony at the ranch, just from a
I don't think
nostalgia
they're that far away.
Perspective. Yeah, but they're like 30 minutes away. I mean, that would be kind of anticlimactic to have like the event at Morgan, unless they're going from Morgan to the ranch.
And you have to avoid the rabid dogs.
Oh, I think that might be something. Do you think?
Because they haven't run over that terrain enough.
But seriously, well, maybe they're going to bike. Maybe they're going to swim at the Morgan thing, bike to the ranch, and then do something at the ranch. Because seriously, and I'm being serious, I can't imagine them not having the award ceremony at the ranch. But I also can't imagine having the award ceremony without their coaches. And the coaches aren't allowed at the award ceremony. But if it's the last day and they're all leaving anyway, maybe they does the bubble disappear for the last 5 minutes and they just let everyone come in because it's at that point it's over?
I'm not sure the coaches thing is a bubble thing. I think it's a. I think it's just to make it tougher.
Okay, so what they'll do is I see what you mean. So the coaches could get there in time for the award ceremony if the final event was there. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
The other day you didn't want to talk about that finale, come hell or high water, and now you're like, ooh, I think I cracked the code.
I may have. Yeah, let's see. I'll be so excited if that's what it is.
All right. Well, any other overall thoughts?
I don't think so. My only other highlight of the day, and I have to, if I don't mention Chandler, something bad might happen. So I saw on I guess it was the Buttery Bros, or it was something that I saw behind the scenes where they showed the demo team doing the run. And you know how like everybody woke up this morning and saw, Matt giving Dave Castro the finger, and like there's memes about Justin Medeiros like coming over around and just like going, okay, Dave, and doing the run. Chandler comes back and, Dave does the whole, you got to go backwards, you got to do it again. And he says, yes, sir. And he just keeps going. Like,
so I have a funny story about that.
Military background, but what's the story?
So my wife and I are watching Buttery Bros, and our spouses don't generally watch this stuff with us all the time.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So we're watching it, and Chandler's running, and she goes, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's Chandler Smith." And that's the point where Dave says, "You got to go again." He goes, "Yes, sir," and takes off and runs again. And she goes, "Is he military?" And I said, mm-hmm. "He's active Army, former West Point grad." She went, "That's my new favorite."
See, I'm telling you, I know. And he's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah.
So charming.
Getting tired of him already.
Although he did make a joke about like his midlife crisis live on, to all your 90,000 subscribers or something like that. And I'm thinking, Chandler, you're in your 20s. You are not having a midlife crisis. Yeah. You might be having a mid-career CrossFit crisis, but not.
He's not even mid-career. Like,
I know.
Like if you think about, and we're kind of going off on a tangent, but his goal was 2022.
Yeah.
He was 6th in the games this year in 2020, 2 years early.
Yeah, it's awesome. Come on the show, Chandler.
I am so anxious to see who he lines up with coaching wise.
I hope. Yeah.
What? You almost said something you didn't want to say?
No. I was just saying I would love for him to go to Cookeville, but I feel like I say that with everybody, so I was trying to be a little more creative. I don't want him to go to New England. That's all I'm going to say. I think he belongs in Cookeville.
So you know how some people have tacos as their favorite food and some people have pizza?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with a taco. It's just not their favorite.
Right.
And CrossFit New England's programming is a taco to me.
Oh, got it. Yeah, because you do comp train, don't you?
We do.
Or your gym does.
Yes. So there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I love Harry. I'm a big fan of the ginger. But
I love
yeah,
mayhem.
I don't know. I just think, I mean, let's face it, they are producing champions. And Chandler, if you're serious about becoming a champion, you need to go to Cookeville. You just do. Yeah. They would love up on you so much. And he was there for a little while last week, and I think Coach B was there, or Sage was there, or somebody. So
yeah, maybe, I think they both were there.
Maybe if we could get him on the show, we could talk to him about his plans and give him some advice.
And Sage said in her story that there was going to be some exciting news coming about her trip to Cookeville.
Yes.
Looking for that. So, Sage is a friend of the show as well.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that girl.
I know. She's
awesome. She's so sassy.
Yep. Super sassy.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I don't know. I mean, and I know like he's been sort of hanging out with Noah and, with Max at Training Think Tank and all that, but I don't know. He's going to Mayhem. I'll meet him there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we have rode that horse.
Bum, bum, bum. They came in today.
Nice.
You'll be getting yours in the mail shortly.
Woohoo! I love that logo. I've said it 100 times.
I wish you could see it when I'm podcasting. I got to figure out how to get. There you go. There it is. Super cool. Very excited. Now I just have to find a location.
There you go. Hey, one of our guests that we just talked to took 2 years to find her location, and it's been perfect ever since.
That's good. I feel like I've been looking since 2013, but it's okay.
All right. Well, we're going to let you guys go. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow night for another edition of Clydesdale After Dark. We'll probably have a few more people on.
I'm going to get a different beverage for next time too.
And what I want you guys to do is tell people to hit the subscribe button.
Yes, please.
It's free of charge. Like Kat said earlier, you don't have to hit the notifier if you don't want to. We'd love if you did. But hit that subscribe button. It just opens up new avenues for us to bring you really cool content. So we're on a push to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's hashtag 1,000 subscribers.
There you
go. We are getting there soon so we can bring you better content. Until then, we'll see you next time on Clydesdale After Dark.
See ya.